Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Ross Benjamin. As always, I'm joined by that handsome gentleman on the other side, Mr. Chip Chirimbus, right now residing in Hollywood, Florida, where we've had a hell of a time getting his video transmission the last couple of days. But he's
Yeah.
here. Chipper, what's going on, my man?
Well, it's 79 degrees in the water and 82 degrees outside air temperature, and I can't be happier. And going 2-1 in the NBA yesterday was great. Other than the fact that we had Miami as the best bet, which of course doesn't look good. 18-6 in the NBA playoffs since we've gotten a start. Happy about that. But Ross, I understand that you've been knocking them dead, coming off a 4-0 day on Wednesday, and incredible percentages over a long period of time.
Well, thank you so much, Chip. Yeah, I had a 1-2 day yesterday. It hinged on that Nashville game. I think you were on the other side in the NHL. I had Nashville plus 126 yesterday. They lose the 3-2 lead late in the game, and then Carolina, who was definitely the better team in that series, won in overtime. It happens. You know what I mean? It's when you lose a game like that, you say, you know what, I was on the right side. I just didn't have any luck.
Yeah.
And when you win a game like that, you just wipe your brow off and say, hey, they owe me for a couple of the bad beats I had. So
Exactly.
anyway, to your point, Chip, 22-9 with my last 31 overall. My NBA, 51-32 with my last 83, 61.4%. That's a pretty big sample size and a pretty good win percentage over that time. And my Major League Baseball picks, 11-2 with my last 13, Chipper. Wow. 52-30 on the year, 63% at average money line odds. I calculated again today. Those 82 picks were at average money line odds of -106. Like yourself, Chipper, I don't give out those big chalks. They don't need us for that.
No, it's unusual for me. Sometimes I do step out when there's nothing else on the board, but there's one play that's a definitive side. I will do that. But for the most part, you don't get anything that's more than $1.30 for me. And most of the time, like you, Ross, I'm in that $1.10 range as an underdog or a favorite, $1.20 in around there. Yeah. And you need a little bit of luck once in a while with these straight.
Yeah.
Consistency has been the key, and you've had it over a large sample of time. So you're doing great. And I'm really happy for you, and proud of you too, as a matter of fact, because I'm associated with you. So maybe some of it'll rub off on me.
Well, yeah, it's you rubbed off on me. That's for sure. I mean, you've been consistently winning for 40 years. So your longevity and my longevity in the business, which is about half that time, I think speaks volumes, because that's all we do for a living. We're not one of these guys that work a part-time job and try to make some side money doing this. No, that's all we do. Right. And in any event, Chipper, we're going to give them a couple free NBA picks on the Saturday card, which features 4 games. Should be a nice Saturday of NBA playoff basketball. And I will say this, over our last 3 videos here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast, we've gone a combined 6-0 on NBA free picks. So, folks, if you've been following us, congratulations. Again, we say these free picks aren't the top of the line from us, but certainly I think I could speak for Chip when I say this. We certainly want to win. We want to win anything we put out, Yeah. So, and again, right. You can get our paid selections. You heard our record. You heard our records, plural, and how well both of us are doing. If you look at the top 10 standings, top 20 standings on most major websites, you will find both of our names. Do the homework, look it up yourself. We're not one of those guys that throw out fake records. You just can't do that these days. Anyway, Chipper, get into that free NBA pick.
Yep.
The people are anxiously awaiting to know who you're on.
Well, I'm going to go to this game between Miami and Milwaukee. And, Miami has had deficits against this team in 3 different games of 52, 44, and 32 points 3 different times this season. And they opened up at home horribly. They just game 2 in in Milwaukee. They had no chance from the get-go. And one thing that's been common as a common denominator here is the Bucks defense, and they even said that they are committed to playing defense. And Dragic of the Heat says, we're out of sync offensively. We can't catch our rhythm. We lose our confidence. And I think that's going to continue here. I would love to take Miami in the game, Ross. I really would. They're down 3-0 at home. They're getting a large number of points, but I won't be surprised if they just get wiped out. It's 4 games to none. I wouldn't be surprised at all, but I would be surprised if it's a high-scoring game. I think they have enough pride to come out there and play hard. I think they have the coaching to do it, and I expect this to be more of an intensely defended game on both sides, and probably a lot of fouls, but people not getting the shots that they're used to getting. And I think this stays under the total, Ross. That would be Milwaukee and the Heat, the Bucks and Miami to stay under.
Miami's been a pretty good defensive team all year. Taking away the last 2 games they played.
Well,
but you know what, Chipper, to your point, and now I want to get your thoughts after that. Is Milwaukee, we talked off air. This is a team that had really high expectations after the last 2 regular seasons. And for lack of a better phrase, they crapped the bed. They lost to the same Miami team last year in 5 games in the conference semifinal. So my point being is, with the lower expectations, maybe this is a team that could rise up and surprise some people. Now, let's not get carried away. Like I told you off air, I mean, beating Miami is one thing. Beating Brooklyn and Philadelphia in consecutive series is another. So, and your point on defense, we talked before the playoffs started how the one enigma that Milwaukee seems to have, and it has had for the last few years, is they could score with anybody. One of the best scoring teams in the NBA, but their inability to defend on a consistent basis has been their downfall. Well, I mean, what I'm seeing from them right now is they're not only playing good defense, they're being very physical with Miami, and Miami's having a tough time adjusting to that, Chip.
Yeah. Well, it's strange because Miami had looked like they had picked up the tempo and gotten hot toward the latter part of the season, and then they come out flat like this. I think it's the Bucks' motivation here after having lost to this team last year and losing 2 years in a row early in the playoffs. We're getting back to the total in this game. These 2 teams over the years, and maybe it's not even significant today, but in the last 28 games they played in Miami, these 2 have gone under the total 21 times. So that's a 75% win percentage to stay the under. I'm not going to buck it. I'm going to stick with the under here, in spite of the Bucks being the first or second leading scorer in the NBA along with Brooklyn. I think this game stays under the total.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in Miami's best interest to get into a high-paced, high-tempo game with Milwaukee. You're playing right into their hands. They need to get back to defending well, using the majority of shot clock, and getting some good quality looks, which they haven't done, and stop turning the damn ball over. Anyway, I'm going to get to my free pick, and that's I was on Philadelphia the first 2 games of the series against Washington. I'm going to go the opposite direction here. Look, I think Philadelphia, I did a futures show last week by myself, and I picked the 76ers at plus 750 to win it all. I just think those numbers, that number, I should say, is a really good value on a high-quality basketball team that plays very well on both ends of the floor. And barring Joel Embiid going out with injury, I like their chances. Having said that, it's not always about who's going to win it all. It's about a betting situation on a particular day. Now, the one thing that comes up here is Russell Westbrook's availability to play in this game. A veteran like him, I know it's an ankle injury, barring he can't walk, I'm going to guess that he's going to play. By the same token, I think this line is a bit high because the books are protecting themselves in case he doesn't play and they don't get bashed with early money. So my point is I think that if you get down early on this game at Washington plus 6, I like my chances because I think if Westbrook plays, this line comes down to 4.5 or 5. If he doesn't, it may go up to 7, but I think right now it's 6, Chip, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is pretty well adjusted to, we're going to protect ourselves. Let's go a little bit in the middle here in case he doesn't play.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, Washington, you're talking about a team that's won 10 of their last 11 at home, 8-1-2 ATS over that run. They're 7-0-1 ATS over their last 8 as an underdog of between 2.5 and 7.5 points, which right now they're at +6. And then this is a Philadelphia team. We talked many times over the course of the season. They are vastly improved on the road down the stretch here, but when they do struggle, it's usually on the road. And looking at the last 2 years, Chipper, I'm not going to get into their overall record on the road because I think it's unreflective of how good they've been on the road down the stretch here. But having said that, they are 2-12 against the spread on the road following back-to-back home wins since the start of last season. I'm going to have a free pick here on the Washington Wizards +6 against Philadelphia. And Chipper's pick is on Miami and Milwaukee to go under. You have a number on that, Chip?
I think it opened like 220, I think, and dropped 2 points almost immediately. So that makes me think that I have the right side.
Yeah, because public money doesn't bet unders early. Trust me. You know, usually when we see a move like that on a total, it's sharp money. And
exactly.
And the guy on the other side of me is a pretty sharp guy, not only looks wise, but as a handicapper. Anyway, Chip, any final thoughts before we leave?
No, hey, I'm also winning in NHL. You said we had.
Yeah, here's a guy, folks, who says, "What do I know about hockey?" And now he's doing well in the NHL playoffs. So keep that in mind. Look,
Chip wins. It's a numbers game.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, hockey, like baseball, is a numbers game. Yeah. I don't like laying pucks, but sometimes a situation sets itself up. This Florida-Tampa Bay series was just a gift. I mean, here Tampa Bay had lost 3 in a row to Florida, and they open up on the road as a $1.40 favorite. I had to lay it. And went to hit 5 straight games in that series. So I was happy about that one anyway. And 8-4, 67% overall. So
yeah, that's great. I mean, because again, you're not giving out big chalks.
No.
On the money line. And the other part of that equation, people forget Florida hadn't made the playoffs, I think it's 6 or 7 seasons. That's a Tampa Bay team. Not only did they win the Stanley Cup last year, they've had several deep runs with the same core group of players in the postseason. So again, you're right, Chip. That was an absolute steal. You can get Chipper's picks right now and every day at chipwins.com. You can find me at rbwins.com. See the common denominator there, folks? Wins. Chipwins.com, rbwins.com. Both sites, you pay a little to make a lot. Until the next time, for Chip Chirimbus, I'm Ross Benjamin. Take care and God bless.